As you know by now, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs have basically built an NFL factory in Athens, Georgia. We've seen it over the last couple of years in the NFL draft. Listen, if you get recruited by Georgia and sign, you're going to get developed, you're going to win championships, and more often than not, you're going to get drafted into the NFL. Of course, last week and over the weekend, we saw 3 Georgia Bulldogs be selected in the first round of the 2023 NFL draft with 10 overall selections, which tied Alabama for the most among college football programs. And of course, the year before that, 2022, Georgia had 5 players drafted in the first round and 15 total, which broke an NFL record, right? So that's just what they do. They're an NFL factory, and I think next year's 2024 class could be even better and could possibly break the 2022 mark of 15 players selected. So that's basically what this video is all about. Which Georgia Bulldogs could hear their name called in the first round of next year's draft, and how many guys could hear their name, drafted throughout the draft. So let's jump right into it. And of course, the first guy who's probably going to come off the board is Brock Bowers. Arguably the best overall player in college football. If he's not number 1, he's number 2. And you'd have to say Marvin Harrison Jr. is number 1. But Brock Bowers could go down as the greatest college football tight end of all time. If he leads Georgia to a three-peat, I don't think there's any question. He is the greatest tight end in college football history. His ball skills, speed, ability to block, he's so dangerous after the catch. The guy does everything well. Should be a top 5 pick, probably a top 10 pick, just depending on who's drafting at the time. But he's in elite talent. I expect him to go on and have a very, very successful NFL career. So that's one. Easy. Brock Bowers, right? Maurice Mims could be the first right tackle off the board. I mean, the guy's just massive, 6'7", 330 pounds, looks like a future WWE star out there. But when he played at right tackle, instead of Warren McClendon last year, who was banged up here and there, he was very good. He was very good against Ohio State. The guy is massive. He moves well for his size. He's long. He's athletic. Georgia is turning into offensive tackle university. And Amarius Mims, even though he's not on the left side, I do think he's going to man the right side of Georgia's line all next season. But he's next man up. And I think NFL coaches and GMs are going to drool when they see this kid in person, and I expect him to have a massive, massive year 3, 2023 season in Athens. Could be the best right tackle in college football. It would not surprise me at all if he climbs the draft boards and hears his name called in the first round. I think it probably should happen. He's a first-round talent. We'll see if it goes down. Carson Beck, I mean, why not? I expect him to win the job. I think he has an NFL arm. I've said that for a long time. He's going to be playing behind arguably the best offensive line in college football. He's got weapons all over the place. Mike Bobo has, coached and developed Matthew Stafford, who went number 1. I don't expect Carson Beck to go number 1. He might not, be one of the first few quarterbacks selected, but I mean, I think he has the potential to be a first-round pick if he continues to develop and have a big season, which I expect him to, and lead Georgia to another national championship, put up big numbers. Why not at this point? He's got size. He's more mobile than people think. And I expect him to have a monster season. This is his 4th year in the program. I think he is bound for big, big things this year. And if he does do all those things, if he checks those boxes that I just mentioned, why not? I know people love Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., but would you rather have Bo Nix or Carson Beck? A lot of people in their early mock drafts have Bo Nix a possible first-rounder. I don't see it. I think Carson Beck is more suited for the NFL than Bo Nix is. So if Carson Beck has a big year, why not? I mean, why not? So I think he's an option as well. Small London, 5-star for a reason. Dude can run. Dude can hit. He's athletic. Played on both sides of the ball at Paulding County. Was a big-time running back and linebacker. Had big shoes to fill last year, filling in for N'Kobe Dean, Quay Walker, Channing Tindall. And he made plays, led the team in tackles last year, had 76 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 1 sack early in the Ohio State game, early interception against LSU. The guy does his job, and he has a very high ceiling, and I don't think he's even close to reaching the potential that he has. So as good as he was last year in year 2, I expect him to have an even bigger season in year 3 as a junior. Again, he looks the part, 6'3", 220. He can run. He's a sure tackler. He can get after the quarterback, and he's got hands. So I think he is set up for a brilliant year 3. And we've seen it with Glenn Schumann. Jamon Dumas-Johnson is going to get drafted as well. I'm not sure he's a first-round pick, but Small Munden has the talent and the potential to be a first-round pick in my eyes if he continues to develop and work on his craft and learn from Glenn Schumann, who just puts linebackers into the NFL every single year. And he is the best linebackers coach and arguably the best defensive coordinator in college football right now. So Small Munden, definitely a guy who I think could hear his name in the first round. Let's talk about some other guys. Javon Bullard, a guy I have my eye on, just an absolute playmaker. If he plays in 2023 the way he did from the Tennessee game on, he could absolutely be a first-round pick. The guy is tough, gritty. Kirby Smart loves this kid. Has talked about his toughness, his willingness to hit, make a tackle in the open field, but he's a natural playmaker. He can get after the quarterback, had 2.5 sacks against Tennessee. Really his big coming out party, but the big hit against Ohio State when the team needed it the most, that changed the game. 2 interceptions against TCU along with a fumble recovery. He was named defensive MVP in both the Peach Bowl against Ohio State and the national championship game against TCU. The guy is a natural. He makes plays. That's just what he does. So when you're tough and you can hit and you can cover and make plays, create turnovers, yeah, you're going to fly up draft boards. So I mean, right now, I'm not sure he's a first round pick, but if he continues to play well and create turnovers and show that, he is an impact guy on any particular play, why not? Why not? So he's a guy who has the potential, but he's definitely going to get drafted and might climb his way into the first round. Dominic Lovett going to get drafted. Crafty wide receiver. I expect him to have a very big year for Georgia this year. Had a monster year for Missouri last year. Speedy, quick, can get open. I think he has a bright future in the NFL as well. We'll see how good he is this year, but I expect him to have a very good season for Georgia and then get drafted next year. Cedric Van Pran, best center in college football, would have been drafted last week, decided to stay for another year. Not sure he's a first round pick because you just don't pick centers in the first round anymore. But he's going to get drafted and could be one of the top or the first interior offensive lineman selected next year. Big future ahead of him. Talked about Jamon Dumas-Johnson, another guy who instinctive and can get after the ball carrier, great motor, knows how to tackle, and he can get after the quarterback as well. He's going to get drafted. Tate Radledge at guard, going to get drafted. Multi-year starter at right guard. Big, physical, great in the run game. I can't remember if he gave up a sack last year. Nothing immediately comes to mind. He's going to get drafted. Nazir Stackhouse, bound for a monster season. One of the better players on the defensive line next season. He's going to get drafted. Kamari Laster, one of the hardest hitting cornerbacks in college football. He's going to get drafted. I expect him to have a great year at cornerback. He's got NFL written all over him. Xavier Trust, massive guy with plenty of experience. He knows what he's doing, and I expect him to have a big year at left guard. I think he's going to get drafted. I'd be surprised if he didn't. Ladd McConkey, former 3-star, just makes big catch after big catch after big catch. Elusive, quick, a great route runner, can help in the screen game, can be a vertical threat, just does everything right. Another tough guy with burst. I think he's someone who can create separation. You need an easy 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, a guy to just quickly get open when the blitz is coming. You can go to Ladd McConkey. He's extremely reliable and dependable. I think he's going to get drafted. Daijun Edwards, crafty running back with some toughness. I think he has the potential to get drafted late. Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. Good things happen when Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint is involved. He's got great hands, can go up and snatch the football out of the air. He's great blocking on the perimeter. He's made some NFL type of catches. Just hasn't had a ton of opportunities. We'll see if he gets more passes thrown his way this year, but he has the size and I think he has the hands to play in the NFL. So he's another guy who could get drafted. Ra Thomas. We'll see how big of a year he has. The transfer from Mississippi State, a big vertical threat, can go up and win jump balls. A bigger receiver you can put on the outside who is a mismatch in one-on-one coverage. Has had a rough kind of start to his Georgia career, being arrested earlier this year, but if he's, good to go, has his head on straight and can make big plays for Georgia down the field, he's going to get drafted. Kendall Milton, tough, physical running back. If he could stay healthy and have a big season, I think an NFL team is going to take a chance on him. Tyke Smith, a former All-American, right, before he got to Georgia. If he sees a lot of playing time this year, which he could, I think he has the talent, and another veteran experienced guy. If he can make a few plays and continue to learn and show that, you know, he can hold his own on a very talented Georgia defense and make some plays and be able to stand out, I think he has the potential to get drafted. So let's go through the numbers right here. That's Brock Bowers, Marius Mims, Carson Beck, Small Munden, Javon Bullard, Dom Lovett, Cedric Van Pran, Jamon Dumas-Johnson, Tate Ratledge, Nazir Stackhouse, that's 10. Kamari Lassiter, 11. Xavier Truss, 12. Lad McConkey, 13. Dejan Edwards, 14. Marcus Roseby Jackson, 15. Rod Thomas, 16. Kendall Milton, 17. Tyke Smith, 18. I just named 18 guys who could get drafted next year. I'm not sure if all of them will, but I think I made the case for a lot of those guys. I think you got easy 15 right there. We'll see about those final 4 or final 3, but I expect Georgia to once again break some records next year. I don't know how many first rounders are going to be taken, but they're going to have another loaded group drafted in 2024. Guys, what do you think? How many go in the first round? How many get drafted? Am I missing someone? Did I put someone on this list that you don't think is going to get drafted at all? Let me know in the comment section below. We really appreciate you all watching these videos. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I will see you over on Dog Post.